Hello and good evening, guys. Welcome back once again to this amazing session that we're having, this amazing YouTube class that we're having here right now. What exactly are the things that we want to talk about today in this session? Right now, we are going to make sure that some of the problems in friction get eased out for you. Now, there's another place where you can ease out all your other different academic problems. Let me tell you about it first before I start the session itself, and that place happens to be the ODA Class app. Now, if you join this app, what are the different things that you can get? There's a lot of learning waiting for you. There's a lot of cryptocurrency virtual coins that we give away to our learners. And if you want to get your hands on both of them combined, this is the place to be. The bridge course. Right. Now, I tell this bridge course with a lot of verve, with a lot of energy, because this is one place that can help you assure that your academics are going in the right direction, that they are not swaying from where they should be. And it starts on Monday, right? This is the course that starts on Monday, and it's sort of a very small course. I call it a weekly course because the duration is exact 1 week. You start off on Monday and you finish it on Sunday, right? And once you're going through this course, you might be thinking that what are the things that I get? Why exactly is or I am talking about this course? So this is one place where everything is sort of fulfilled. If you see, you have 6 classes. That means the first 6 days, that is Monday to Saturday, you will be having classes in maths and science, 3 each. That means that you have learned some of the concepts, like you will be learning some today. But yes, this would be reinforced with a 45-minute session, and that is something that is sort of stupendous, right? The next thing, you will get a personal teacher. Every student who joins this bridge course gets an academic mentor teacher, and this academic mentor teacher is your go-to buddy, is your go-to person, and you can ask as many doubts as possible during this 1 week. And once you're getting over here, you're getting this mentor teacher support, you're supposed to ask out those doubts because I know that you feel a lot of problem. You can make this guy your best buddy, your best friend, and make sure that your learning is always on the rise. And it does not end here. All these classes, you see these 6 classes, how will you know whether you have learned or not? Maybe you're doing good in the class, maybe you're understanding a lot of things, but at the end of the day, if you're not able to solve the questions, you just feel it's a waste. So that's why we've kept the homework on the app itself, so that once you download the app, once you see those classes, you also do that homework and ensure that you have 100% understood that topic. Now, once you understand a lot of concepts over these 6 days, you'd be learning a lot of concepts, maybe 20, 30 concepts you've learned. And once you've learned those, are you able to recall them all at once? There's the test to make sure that you can also ensure that, you know what, if you shuffle up a lot of things, if you give me a lot of topics, just randomly throwing me a math question, a science question, this topic, this chapter, that chapter, am I able to do that? You can check yourself out on that front as well. And finally, last but not the least, as they say, that you are also going to get some super awesome PDF books. Now, these books, once you learn a lot of things, maybe you feel like, you know what, I want to learn more. I want to learn more. Oh, you know what? 1 week is over. What can you do? You can quickly go ahead on the PDFs and you can start learning more. You can share it with your friends. So, a lot of things are there. If you just join the bridge course, you'll make sure that you're learning. Now, if you are thinking that I do want to come here, you said that the correct places to click will lead you there. Where exactly do you click? This link. Now you cannot click on the screen. You can find this in the description below. Go find it out and you're going to find that link. Make sure you click on it and get yourself enrolled in this discounted price of rupees 49 itself. This is a 499 rupees course, but since you've come into this class, since you're watching me right now, that's why we're keeping it as rupees 49. Right? So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, click the link before it expires. Right? Now, all of you are thinking that, you know what, I don't know this guy, and let me tell you a little about myself. My name is Udit Gupta, and I've done my BTech from NIT Allahabad. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession, and I have had more than 9 years of teaching experience in physics itself. So that is what I would be trying to do here. There's a lot of students that I've mentored over time, and I hope to make sure that you are also getting mentored by the same things. Now, comes the part. Now comes the class itself. Now comes the session itself. And what is the session flow over here? If you see, we're going to talk about some very short answer question, that is 1 mark question. And to understand how they are asked, to understand how we answer is one thing that we would be trying to do here, trying to get into the examiner's mind. That is what is important, that is what that counts. And then we're going to talk about a short answer question as well. It's going to be sort of a 2 mark question, maybe a little bit lengthier, but yes, again, we'll have to answer those questions in the next class. I've just bought it for you. We're going to talk about medium answer questions as well, maybe some long answers, that is the 3 markers and the 5 markers. But yes, let's just start off with the very short answer questions first. Now, what does this VSA mean? VSA is for very short answer. What do we have in this very short answer? Question number one. Now you see 4 lines given to you. You might think that how is this a 1 mark question? 1 mark questions are generally small, right? So this question is actually small. If you'll just start reading it, what does it say? It says that 2 blocks of iron of different masses. There are 2 blocks, block one, block two. They are having different masses, it said, and are kept on a cemented floor as shown in the figure. Okay, I don't see a figure. Let's see the figure if it's there. Okay, thank you very much. So this is that cemented floor, and there are these 2 blocks of iron. I can see that they are also having different masses. Obviously, mass over here is less, and mass over here is more. What is the next thing that we say? We say which one of them would require a larger force? Which one of them would require a bigger force? किस पे ज्यादा फोर्स लगानी पड़ेगी जिससे कि ये लोग चलने लगे, right? So I think the answer seems pretty much intuitive, that you can say, you know what, sir, I think this is a small block. If I apply a small force, it will move. But sir, if I talk about this big block, I'm gonna have to apply a bigger force such that it moves. So your answer is absolutely correct, that this guy over here will require a larger force to move. But how do you put it in words? How do you put it in something that your examiner, that your teacher would like and give you some marks? So what can you say? You can say that, you know what? For this case, wherever the mass is less, you can say this directly tells me that friction is also less. This one, where mass is more, this directly tells me that the friction is also more. So if more friction is there, I require a bigger amount of force, and if less friction is there, so I require a lesser amount of force. Right? So this is how you can do. You can draw out the diagram. You can do it exactly like I've done, and your teacher would give you all the marks because it's a 1 mark question. And I'm pretty sure once you write this statement, your things get done. Now, the same things are written. If you would just read it out, it says that the block having mass 2 units will require larger force to move from the rest position. Why? Because the friction force is going to increase. Friction force is going to increase as the mass of the object increases. Similarly, you can say the smaller mass requires a smaller force. So over here, larger mass requires a larger force to move from the rest position. I hope this question number one is pretty much clear. I'm going to move on to question number two now. And what does this very short answer question number two bring you? Let's see that here on the screen, right? So this is what it seems like this time around. It's 6 lines. Okay, it's still a 1 mark question, and you might be thinking, why? Just try to read the question. If you read the question properly, any question becomes easy. Like I said, that half the question is already done if you can read and understand properly. So what do we say? We say there are 2 boys that are riding their bicycles on the same concrete road. Okay, let me take up 2 boys. They are riding their bicycle. Let me say that this is my bicycle number one. Let us say this first guy, is riding, and similarly, let's draw another one in another ink. And there is this second guy who is also riding his bicycle. And okay, all right. One of them has new tires. Okay, let us say that this guy was the one having new tires, and another one is having old tires, old and used tires. So let us say that this guy is having those old and used tires, पुरानी साइकिल, हाँ? Okay, no problem. ये दोनों ने हमने मार्क कर लिया है. Now, what is the next thing that we have said? Which of them is more likely to slip? कौन ज्यादा जल्दी स्लिप करेगा through a patch of road which has lubricating oil? तो अभी यहाँ पे ऑयल डला है इसके पास भी एंड ऑयल डला है इसके पास भी. Which one of them is more readily going to slip? So the answer comes very easily कि जहां पे फ्रिक्शन होगा कम, because if friction is less, you tend to slip. If friction is more, you tend to grip. So both these things are going hand in hand with respect to the tires. And if you just remember this much, this small little box, if you would remember that less friction means you're going to slip, more friction means you're going to grip. So over here, which is going to grip more? I will say that this one will grip because he has new tires. Right? Over here, friction more can be provided because the tires will say, yes, we are new. But if we talk about the other case, if we talk about the older tires, friction is less. So over here in the old tires, this is going to slip. So I hope that you understood it with respect to the diagram. With respect to the facts, you can write it down something like this, that the boy having the tires which are old and used is most likely to slip. Exactly what I told you, because friction provided is less over there. And similarly, you can say, if you want to write after this, then you can write down the guy having the new tires is more likely to grip because he's be having more friction. Those tires, the newer tires can provide you a better grip, a better control. You must have seen those Seat tires ad, right? All right, let's move on to the the short answer questions. So, what is the short answer question number one? Okay, it says something again, it's a big question. Let us read it out. Is there a force of friction between the wheel of a train and iron rails? So, this one and this one. Is there a friction between them? This is your question number one. That is one mark. You will get it here. And then it is saying, if yes, if you say that yes, this is the case, name the type of friction. So over here, you are getting 1.5 marks if you're just able to answer till here. Now, I think that you know pretty much that between wheels and rails, or between wheels and road, or between wheels and any sort of a surface, we get rolling friction. So, first part I know very easy. I will say that you know no, what this name the type of friction. This is gonna be rolling, right? Okay, what's the next part that says? It says that if now we replace this with an air cushion, if an air cushion can be introduced between the wheel and the rail, so is there going to be any change in the friction? Any effect on friction? Will it increase? Will it decrease? Will it remain the same? What will happen? So I think that the answer is pretty clear that if you're having wheel and if you're having rail, you get rolling friction that comes in solids, right? And if you introduce between the wheel an air cushion, so air is actually a fluid, and this friction, fluid friction, is actually very less. So if I got to answer this second part of the question, I will say that friction will be decreasing a lot if we introduce that air cushion. So again, I hope that the things shown to you are pretty much obvious and pretty much clear. We'll just show you. where exactly the answer lies with respect to the English, with respect to the facts. We say yes, there is always a force of friction. In the first case, we're talking about rolling friction being there. And once you introduce that air cushion, you say that this time around the contact force decreases, the contact itself decreases, and that ultimately results in the frictional force becoming less, becoming going down. All right. Okay, let's have the final question now. And the short answer to is telling you that there is something given. We have two identical metal sheets. All right, let's draw it out. Let's get those metal sheets out. All right, where do we have? Let us say that this is your metal sheet number one. Let us say this is your metal sheet number two. This is number one, and this is number two. And then we are going to rub one of them with sandpaper. Here comes sandpaper, right? Sandpaper को ही हिंदी में हम लोग रेगमाल बोलते हैं, right? So we have sandpaper. You must have heard about that, the Igmalwala scandal, sandpaper scandal with the Australian cricket team when Steve Smith was the captain. Okay, too much cricket. I love it. Maybe you don't. But yes, sandpaper is Regmal. It's used to rub things and make it shinier, right? So when we rub with sandpaper, another we just have a normal, ordinary paper, maybe an A4 sheet of paper, and you rub both of them. Now, what do we see is we see that the one with the sandpaper is going to shine more as compared to the other. Why is that? Again, the answer lies in friction. Over here, the friction is greater and hence the particles can be removed. In this case, friction is less, hence the particles are not so easy to remove. And you know what? If you use an ordinary paper on a metal sheet, the paper itself will get tore up, right? It will be teared up. It will become bits and pieces, but it won't be able to get it to shine. So friction is the answer. In the first case, friction is more. In the second case, friction is less. Exactly what we tell you. And here you see, while rubbing with the sandpaper, more frictional force is produced between the layers of metal sheet and sandpaper, which causes more force on dust particles and then hence they come out very, very easily. But if you talk about the second case, it's not the case, and the force is not sufficient enough to make sure that those dust particles, those rust particles come out, and hence the shine is less in this case. So I hope you've understood how to write these questions. Obviously, it was a 2 mark question, that's why you've written it down in two different parts. I hope you have absolutely loved this session. And there's one more thing that you can absolutely love, and that happens to be the ODA Class app. Go out there, check out this bridge course. That is the next big thing that you can be a part of, that you can enroll yourself into. It's going to start on Monday. There's only 2 days left now. So if I were you, I would come into this weekly course, learn all these things, maybe ask out a doubt or two, maybe more. That depends on you how much you want to exploit your mentor teacher. But I would say that, you know what, they're ready to take up those doubts. Just come out there, get all that learning, do the homeworks, get your tests done, make sure that you are becoming better each and every day, like ODA Class promises to give you a better teacher and a better future. Here is the link once again. Go out, check it in the link below. Click on it to make sure you're not missing out on your seat. There's only very limited seats left. So I would, if I were you, I would go out there and get my hands on this. I told you that we reward our students handsomely. We don't want any student out there to feel that, you know what, I just came in, I gave some amount of money and I've learned and I've earned nothing. So there's always earning to be done. Our own virtual currency, that is the ODA coins, are there. And let me tell you, if you get your hands on decent enough ODA coins, you can get the gifts from the ODA mall. Isn't that great? Learning coming with earning. So if you are looking out to learn and earn, if you are looking out to be at the best of the places to compete with the best of minds in India, then obviously you should come out in our bridge course. That was about it from the class today. I hope we can learn much more once we come into the next session, once we come into the next thing. And until then, I would like to say that if you have loved it, go out, share with your friends. Make sure that everybody who you feel can benefit from this should see this, and do press that share button. Go on to WhatsApp and share it there. And yes, if you loved it yourself, why don't you click on the like button and show us your support. And final thing that I want to say is that if you liked it, this button out there, the red colored button, the bell icon, press on it to make sure that you are getting those updates before anybody else. This is me signing off, saying adios, bye bye.